Hi. There we go. We got the laugh out. Yeah. Hey there. I'm Kyle Miller, the manager of video production here at Storyblocks, and I'm joined today by our creative director, Kaitlyn Rossi.
We've been doing video marketing at Storyblocks for 8 years, and it's safe to say that we've learned a lot during that time.
Definitely.
So today we're going to be revealing the top 8 lessons that we've learned over the past 8 years. Nobody cares. Okay, so I feel like we need to preface this one because people do care.
Yeah.
What this means is I don't think people care. I don't think your audience care what you have to say about yourself. They want to know what all of this means to them. They want to be able to relate to it from their perspective. So I think what this really means is that you have to understand what your audience is looking for, what they care about, and you have to position everything in your content, in your videos from that perspective, how you were speaking directly to them, how you were helping them out, how you were solving their problems. If you are just talking about yourself over and over and over again, nobody will care because how does it relate to them?
Yeah, definitely. And I think like a piece of that, obviously, it's putting yourself in their shoes. You have to imagine, specifically with online video, if they're on a social platform, you're making an ad for a social platform, they're not coming there to watch your ad. Like they are not, and think about yourself when an ad comes up. Like most of the time you just want to skip it unless it is really, really appealing. And that means that you have to give them something to care about. So that might be characters. It could be a number of things. But you should start from the default of nobody cares.
One way to figure this out is to read the comments on your posts, on your YouTube videos, whatever you're putting out there. Listen to what people are saying about you. That really is what your brand is how people perceive of you, not how you think of yourself.
Yeah, and even like Reddit has become a little bit of this front page of the internet. And so if you're posting something and there maybe isn't a ton of engagement on your post, then maybe try searching Reddit and see if customers or folks already have something to say almost behind your back. It's valuable to see that as well.
Good and bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Next one.
All right. This is you.
Okay. Let's see. Done is better than perfect. So I think that there's, especially as a creative, you might want to be chasing perfection. And I think that you'll find, I've definitely found this over and over again, that you kind of dig yourself into a hole. And really the way that you get closer to making progress, to leveling up your skills is getting something out there, getting feedback from others, and then iterating on it into the future.
I think another way to say this is that perfect is the enemy of progress. If you're focusing too much on every little detail and what is everybody going to think of the way that I made this cut? What is everybody going to think about the way that I framed this shot? You'll get in your own way. You'll never ship anything, and so people won't have anything to react to. I think it's really important to get over the mental block that everything needs to be exactly how you envisioned it to be before you press publish. If you can't get over that, you're going to have a really hard time getting content out the door, and people won't have anything to react to.
Yeah, and I think with video editing, you're making a ton of small decisions. I mean, there's tons of frames that you could cut 3 frames earlier, 3 frames later, and you might ask yourself, is it better, is it worse? Does it need to move up a couple pixels? Like, these are all questions that you're having, and intuition can tell you a lot, but the audience and hard data, especially if it's some sort of paid ad or organic as well, and seeing how it's performing, is it getting more viewership, is it getting more engagement, you're gonna get a better understanding of the creative by getting it out into the world, hearing what people have to say about it, rather than making a lot of different assumptions and sometimes overthinking your own creative decisions. And it's hard because there's a lot of different components to a video. There's the message that it's saying, and then how that message is visually represented, and the pace at which it's delivered to the audience as well. So like, there's all these components, and so you're always testing multiple variables, and so always try to kind of key in on a few and just get it out there and hear what works.
Okay. Everyone can teach you something.
Yeah, what does this mean to you?
So one thing I've learned working in-house at a company, at a brand, you shouldn't discount the people that you wouldn't consider to be like specialized in your field, in creative, in video production, and the things that they can tell you about your work. I think you have something that you can learn from each and every person on your team. They come with different perspectives. They have different goals often. And it's always important, I think, to listen to what they have to say, how they're reacting to your work, how they perceive it, and really take that feedback in to heart. And I think that is what kind of makes you a well-rounded video creator, a well-rounded marketer.
Yeah, I think, a lot of brands oftentimes pay a lot of money, hundreds of thousands of dollars, millions of dollars to external brand agencies to get that outside opinion. And I think as marketers, one method that you can use is going to folks maybe within your company who might not hear all of the marketing jargon or messaging that you throw around, and quite honestly asking them, like, does this resonate with you? Do you feel the same way about the work that you're doing? Is this aligned with what we're saying about it as well? I think is also really important.
So know the right people to bring into your review process, and know the right time to bring them in as well, and the best questions that you can ask to get to that valuable feedback.
Next one.
Timely. Quality is king.
Mm-hmm.
But, okay, so quality is super important when you're doing video production and in video marketing, but that doesn't mean, I think, what it meant maybe 8 years ago. Quality is king used to kind of mean your production value. So how much are you putting into setting up a shot? What do the visual effects look like? These things can be important in certain videos, but it's not going to be king across the board. I think what is actually quality is king now is the quality of your content. So you can create a really brilliant idea that connects with your audience, that says what you need it to say, and it can be shot on an iPhone, and it can be edited within Instagram or something like that. So when you're thinking about quality today, what you need to think about is the quality of your content overall, and not necessarily about your production value in every case.
Yeah, I think that quite honestly, video production and filmmaking has been democratized in a lot of ways. We're seeing new technology like phone cameras that makes it really, really easy to create high quality in terms of fidelity video very fast. And one of the big advantages of this equipment is that you can carry it around with you everywhere. You can move very quickly and shoot in different formats. And so that unlocks a whole new style of production in a kind of a more free-flowing way that maybe wasn't quite as possible in the past. So leaning into quality in terms of like real life events, I think is something that's really important as well. Pink is going to me. Maybe. Faces. Faces. What the heck does faces mean? Yeah, one of the things that we found with our ad creative is that faces, especially as a hook, are really, really valuable. And we've seen our hook rates increase a lot just by having faces thrown in there compared to like a POV shot. So it's really, really interesting. People are drawn to other people at the end of the day, and they get curious about what is that person's experience right now.
So this is a real tactical thing that we've learned, but it's one that we keep seeing over and over and over again. Our ads, if we change nothing about it except for the intro shot, the one with the face typically performs better, and there's a reason for that. So, yeah.
To take it one step further, I think that there is this like innately human element of wanting to hear other people's stories and just general curiosity. Centering your story around a specific person, a specific maybe user of your product might be even more impactful than just the value points. If you can give a tactical example from someone's point of view or perspective, that'll be even better.
I think we see that even with stock footage. In our library, the number one category of content that's downloaded is people footage, because they're being used over and over and over again in advertisements, in promotions, in e-learning videos. So, yeah.
Yeah, and I think a lot of the time it probably comes down to trying to convey the emotion. Emotion is such an intangible thing, but it's so clear when you look at it on somebody's face or their body language, etc.
Oh, I love this one. Borrow, don't copy. What I mean by this one is it is amazing to look through all of the different video and work on the internet and get inspiration from everything from, individual creators who are making reels to high-end advertisements to print. You can find inspiration for your work everywhere you look, but it is super important when you find something that you think might work for your content or, your video, is to just really take that inspiration point and don't copy it. If you're copying things exactly, I don't think you're going to find that they work the exact same way as they did maybe for that inspiration source.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that there's something to be said for creative that might be working for another brand or creator. Just to double down on Kaitlyn's point, may not necessarily work for your brand, because there could be additional context that is understood in the back of someone's head when they watch a piece of creative that is applied to the other brand but might not be applied to yours, or is applied to a creator or applied to an influencer but not necessarily applied to your company.
This one's you, right?
Alrighty. The only constant is change. It's a simple phrase and it applies to many things in life, but the only constant is change. So you should always it's easy to get stuck in a rut and say, all right, this had performed well in the past, let's just keep doing more and more and more of it. I think you can do that to an extent, but don't be afraid to step away from that or start to iterate on that if you see things change a little bit, because the audience's preferences change, the context of the world changes a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, and this applies to everything from content styles to publishing platforms, all the way to the internal things like your budget and your team and the priorities of your brand or your company that you might be doing video marketing for. Everything is going to continue evolving. So you have to get comfortable with flexibility and being adaptable very early on, because it will keep happening. All right. So we planned this one a little bit, but the last one is don't lose your joy. And the reason this is last is because all of these lessons we just went through, they do matter, but this is the number one thing to keep as an overall theme. If you don't kind of breathe your enjoyment, your joy, your creativity into your video work, your audience, all the consumers, they will be able to tell. They will feel it.
And it's not only just for the audience's sake or for engagement's sake too. It's you will get burnout if you're not completely happy doing some of the work or finding ways to make it creative. And I think that in a world where you have to test and iterate, it's think about how can, selfishly for yourself, I think sometimes, how can we make this a little bit more fun? And also, if you're having fun creating it, then likely the audience is going to be able to see that.
Yeah.
All right, there you have it. We're done with this video, but hopefully you learned something along the way. Let us know in the comments down below what some of the biggest lessons that you've learned over your career are, and we'll do our best to read all of them. I'm excited to hear what you have to say.
Bye.